right, this is a crazy episode because I am simultaneously recording both video and audio, not just for my podcast, but for my new YouTube channel. So surprise, surprise. And I'm high-key excited. Now, two things. This is a rough-ass video because it's on my iPhone. Just like everything else, this podcast got started on my iPhone, and I had been stressing about the background of this video so much, but today literally I was like, fuck it. Like, there was just no way I was gonna be able to have everything ready in time. So this is just what it is. This is my office, my craft room, you know what I mean? Like, this is just all in one room. Podcast studio now. But we're here and we're doing it, and I'm just glad. Today's just been so different from the past couple of weeks. It's crazy because when I recorded the first episode and released, season 2 weeks ago, I was like so motivated and so committed to like, I'm going to do this weekly. I got to be consistent. I got to do all this stuff. And boom, just my mental health just took a big old, it just really has just been a crazy wave of emotions the last couple of weeks. Like, I could not get motivated, to say the least. And it's one of those things where I just felt stuck. Like, there was just no other way around it but realizing that I was struggling, and then being okay with me feeling like that. Listen, I've been on this self-healing journey for almost 2 years now, and taking accountability for my feelings and my emotions and the unlearning and the reprogramming of my mindset, right? So I felt like all last year, it was just so easy for me to come back. I was doing all the hard things, doing all the inner work, doing meditations daily, doing my miracle morning every morning. But there was just a point where I felt like I was burnt out from even doing all of that. And then I started to feel guilty about feeling burnt out of doing that. Like, I'm not going to be able to be productive if I'm not doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. But then I'm starting to develop unhealthy habits by depending on that, where it doesn't matter about the routine. It matters about me feeling good. And that must always be the end goal, is me feeling good, right? So this isn't going to be your episode where I'm going to be giving you like tips, and also it's also not going to be like the Debbie Downer episode either, but I just want to be so authentic on this journey and not just be, a new phrase that I learned in the beginning, since the beginning of quarantine, was toxic positivity. And I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I didn't even know that was something that was, that people do. And then once I started to read up on it, I started to realize, like, oh man, like, I don't want to be that type of motivator where it's just nothing but positivity the whole time. This whole thing started because I just wanted to document my healing journey. Talking on my podcast was my form of therapy, because therapy is so unrealistically expensive that I could not afford it at this time. Actually still can't, and talking on here on a podcast is actually a little bit better, because I still have this programming in my mind that I'm hassling others when I vent or when I try to lean on other people. Like, those are my own burdens, and I don't need to give that on to somebody else, But, so to go back to, like, me struggling during the last couple of weeks, it's it's been tough because it's like really been this like big old roller coaster of emotions where I'm thinking that I'm doing well and I'm, progressing. And then here I go just having a shitty couple of days. And they're like, I have good days where I wake up great and then the rest of the day goes to shit. And it just could be with everything. I always feel like I'm failing as a mom, and I feel like during quarantine, everything's just like amplified, and failing as a wife and failing myself. And then I'm not taking the time to do that for myself. I'm sleeping in later and later. And then I'm letting the house go, and then I'm letting myself go. And then I'm not keeping up on things I need to keep up on, and the list goes on and on and on. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but this is real life, right? Like, this is not, I could tell you all day and be that motivational person that's just like, go, go, go. You need to have a routine, 5 a.m., wake up, do the things, like successful people wake up early, like do all the things. But honey, real life is, every day is different. You know what I mean? Like, your own, it's not a cookie cutter way to heal. There is no cookie cutter way to heal. There's just your way and your journey, and that deserves some motherfucking grace. Okay? That is your own journey, and you have to be you have to love yourself during this process, and you have to be so forgiving of yourself also. Like, you can't be going around here and just thinking like, oh, well, I just got to do a couple meditations and everything's going to be better. For as long as you've been alive and as long as you've been on this healing journey, honey, this is practice. These are new habits that you're trying to form. Right? So I had to remind myself of all these things, but it has been so hard that I'm not gonna lie. And then of course, coronavirus just makes it way fucking worse, right? Everything's like amplified to the nines. My husband's still home, you know what I mean? My kids are now officially remote learning till the end of the year. And most likely most of the, the whole school year, let's be realistic, but then you start doing that where you start planning for the future and you start seeing into the future, because all of a sudden all of us are psychics and we could all plan for the future like that, right? And just the list is fucking endless. And I was just, I don't want to say spiraling, but I did feel like, because I'm not in control, right? Because I felt like I was not in control, or I felt like my emotions and my thoughts were getting the best of me. I really felt out of control, which I was, because you are able to control these things. But then also too, it all requires some grace. It's not like just because I owned last year in my healing journey means that this year is going to be the same. No, we got different circumstances. I got different things going on now. My little boys are literally little men now. Well, not all of them. I'm just saying, like, they got personalities and they're different, and everybody has emotions that are intense and going through things, and I just feel like there's not enough of me to go around, and I'm struggling. Like, I feel like I'm drowning. And then I was talking to a girlfriend last night. Shout out to her, because Jen, I love you so much. Because just with a little bit of laughs and both of us kind of being on the same page of like, yo, what the fuck? I feel like I'm struggling, And I literally told her last night, like, I feel like I'm a functioning depressed person. Like, if that makes sense, a functioning depressive, if that's even a word. Like, I'm making that word up. But I feel it. Like, although I'm depressed and sad and I feel broken, I'm still strong And I'm still getting shit done, even though I'm not doing it at my best, but I'm still doing all the things I need to be doing, you know? Cooking and kind of cleaning and keeping my little humans alive and trying to be a decent wife. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still here, right? I'm not giving up, but I still feel like, fuck, I'm fucking sad on the inside. And I'm struggling, point blank, period. And I don't know how to get myself out of it, right? So I have been feeling like that for the last month or so, and I really felt like when I launched season 2 and that first, you know, like I was getting pumped up, you know, I did the cover art, I did all that stuff and released the first episode, and I'm like, okay, it's only onwards and upwards from here. No, that wasn't the fucking case. It was like it lasted for 2 days and that was it. But I just had like a thought right now. It's just like when you have these high expectations for when you start, you know, working out, start a diet, right? You give yourself 30 days. Then, or you give yourself a weight, you know, that you need to reach. Say you want to lose like 20 pounds. So you're thinking in your mind like, well, I'm going to look bomb as hell when I lose 20 pounds. And when I get there, I'm going to be happy. And then what ends up fucking happening? You lose the 20 pounds and you're like, bro, I still look the same. My neck looks a little thinner. There's a little bit less jiggle in my arms. But it's not that big of a difference. So you're attaching your happiness to the end result when that's not the way how it works. You have to be happy now, right? You have to be, or not even happy now. You have to be accepting of yourself now already. And it's just like, I'm not even there. Like, that ain't even it. I just want to be consistent with things in my life. And I feel like I'm failing miserably at that. You know, like, I'm a small business owner. I'm supposed to be doing a lot of shit right now for the holidays, but I can't even drag myself to do that just because it's like so overwhelming. And I feel like people don't talk about this, right? There's so many quote unquote like life coaches and all these people that got all these things, all these e-courses, all these things that you could do of how to bounce back and do all these things, but they don't talk about the thing that got us here, right? We talk about that one moment that like, oh my God, you had the epiphany and like, you know, and then you change your life for the better. But we're not talking about the middle of that, right? Where it's just like a fucking roller coaster every single day. It doesn't have to be that way. So I don't want it to sound like, oh my God, it's going to end up happening to me. This is just the ride I'm on right now, right? And for the past month, I feel like I couldn't get off, right? Like, obviously tension in my marriage, or, you know, just like, I want to say normal because COVID's not normal. And job loss and like financial issues, and then kids being home constantly and not being able to do much or even just go to the store and breathe normally. Right now we have this mask over our face that just makes life fucking miserable, but yet we're trying to be responsible and do the right thing and wear the fucking mask. It's not a big deal. But going to the grocery store isn't fun for me like it used to be, right? That used to be part of my getaway of, you know, my me time. And I don't even get that anymore. And I just feel like nobody talks about the messiness in the middle of your journey. Nobody does. And I have to remember that grace carried me here. And by giving grace to myself, I will carry on. And to be aware of this season that I'm in doesn't mean that it's going to fucking last forever. But this is part of my healing journey, the messy part. I've just been in this part for a little bit longer than I would like to be. And you have to give yourself some grace during this process, or else you're just in a downward spiral into that deep dark hole you don't want to be in, right? Or even if we feel like we're in the deep dark hole, because I just felt like I literally have been drowning, right? I feel like more than March, but because of everything that's happening around us, it's just intensified like 10 times, just because there really is no time to myself ever. And usually, like, I really did, make a conscious effort to do this episode right now, because it's just like, you know what? I've been dreaming about this moment where I'm also recording both video and doing my podcast at the same time, so I could do simultaneously YouTube and my podcast, but I'm always like giving myself excuses of like, well, I don't have the background yet, or I haven't fucking steamed it yet, or I didn't do my face, hair, and makeup today, and all the excuses. And then I was just like, you know what? This is what it is, and this is the first episode, and the first episode always sucks, and we're here now. Okay, so I felt like today I did wake up a lot better, and me having my conversation with my girlfriend last night was definitely helpful, because we're talking about, I really felt like, not that I was alone. I know that a lot of people are having their own issues right now, but me talking out to her, talking with her, that, and us laughing about it, because she was telling me her things and me telling her. And it was not even like a long ass conversation, but just that little bit that I was able to like let out, I felt loads better. Right? And before, my habit used to be when I wake up in the morning, I did 5 a.m. mornings every single day for a whole year and a half straight. And I can't get there anymore. So this morning, although I didn't wake up at 5, usually my magic morning would consist of me waking up at 5, me coming into my office and doing EFT, some sort of meditation, taking really long time for myself, some me time, and doing all the wonderful things, journaling, doing everything, doing the work. And then working out, and then by that time it was time to take the kids to school and get them ready to go to school. And it would be great, right? I did it amazingly, it was great. But then it started to feel like a habit, and I could not get back into it, especially after everything that happened in March and April, and it was just so much going on. But I feel like I have yet to still breathe from all of that. A lot of us don't even realize, but this whole virus has really been traumatic for all of us, and it has affected us in so many different ways that the word traumatic it may seem a little bit drastic to call it, but that definitely is what it is. And you'll see a lot of us having post-traumatic stress from all this, or having anxiety issues because of this, and depression, and a lot of all this stuff. And we need to just give ourselves some fucking, you know what I mean? Like some form of like, hey, it's okay. We're going to get through this. And it's okay that you're feeling like you don't know how you're going to get out of it. And this morning, I always made it a thing to not do social media as soon as I woke up, or check emails, or look at my phone, or check text messages, or any of that. I would just look at my phone to turn off my alarm, and that was it. But that has not been the case. Lately, I just will go straight into whatever is on my phone, whatever I have to answer, TikToks, DMs, whatever it is, Instagram, emails, everything and anything I was doing as soon as I opened my eyes in the morning. That is like the worst thing you could do. But I could not stop. I could not get back into my old habits. It just was not easy for me to do. And this morning, although I didn't wake up at the time I wanted to wake up, I still didn't get my phone. I looked at my phone for what time it was and then came straight to my room, groggy and all. And the first thing I kept thinking about was doing Gala Darling's EFT tapping. Like, let me do what's going to make me feel good. And what's the first high vibe, honey? So she does this thing every Sunday where she does guided EFT tapping, and that's like I'm gonna mess this up. Acupressure, and you're tapping on meridian points all over your body to shift the energy in your body. So it's basically like a massage, but for energy in your body. Okay? If that makes sense at all. So Gala Darling, look her up on YouTube, and do her EFT tappings on Sundays. And you'll see it's like the High Vibe Honey series that she does. And this morning was something along the lines of committing to your dream. And it was everything I fucking needed to hear this morning. Everything. And it was amazing how much I needed to release. And EFT tapping does mix around your energy in your body. And sometimes you experience some things, and I was definitely, because I've been holding in so much, I definitely was crying throughout the session. She did too. And I needed that cry. I've been doing a lot of crying in the past couple months, but not that type of cry where I feel like I'm releasing and I'm feeling better. Because I had so much energy after that session was over and doing that video with her on YouTube, that I just felt loads better. So usually I like to give you guys tips on how you could, how you can also bounce back. But for me, it's just about just honoring your feelings during this time. There's no right or wrong way. There's no 1, 2, 3 step method that you need to be doing to bounce back. It really is on what's going to bring you joy, and only you know how to get yourself there. I could tell you EFT tapping will bring you joy, but then it might make you be like, what the fuck is this? Right? Like, everybody has all these e-courses on like how you can do all this. I'm not knocking them. But we put a lot of that on a pedestal instead of knowing that everything and all the answers are here within you and that you're enough already, right? We just need reminders of that we are enough and that we are worthy, and that it is okay to take care of yourself first, and then to let yourself, hey, this is just a season where you were just feeling so shitty. That doesn't mean that next winter you're going to feel that way, or next spring. No, just right now, it's not feeling that great. Or if it's the opposite and you're feeling fantastic, look, you just keep that going. All of last year, I felt like that. I just felt on the high and high and high. Doing the work was messy, but every morning I was so committed, and I am still committed, but because I am ascending, because I am healing, this is part of the process. So I'm just in that part of my healing that it's just taking longer, a little bit longer than it needs to. But who's the one putting time on these things? Who's putting the time limit on these things? Why do I feel like I'm running out of time? Who is putting that time limit on me? Those are just the thoughts that are running in my head, So you have to watch the stories you tell yourself of what time you need to be done with things, how, you know what I mean? Like all these conditions you put on your healing process when that's not the way how it works. It's just like people who say, I saw somebody the other day, I think she lost her husband or something. I don't know if she was like a celebrity but she's an influencer, I think. And her husband died of COVID. And I was trying to look on her timeline, go back to like, usually people do like the posts of like when they announce that, somebody died or whatever. And I couldn't even find it just because her whole Instagram was just of like the cookie cutter, like laughing and all these stage pictures. Like I can't even find the post that she did for her husband. It took a couple and it was like only a month ago. And then reading her captions of saying like, it's been a month, I've healed, I've took the time for myself, it's time to go back to work and all this stuff. And it's just like, honey, what? You've healed in a month? After the love of your life died? What is this? Listen, that's her healing process, and okay if that's how you feel. I haven't, you know what I mean? Like, God forbid that happens to me, but like, for me it's been 20 years since my brother's death, and I'm still reeling. And I guess that's just me. But I feel like when you put those types of things, like I'm not saying like for your grief, it's going to take that long, right? But I also think saying that you've grieved in a month and you're healed is unrealistic also. That's nuts. So I just feel like do not compare yourself to other people's journeys because they are not you and you are not them. And it takes time to make your soul happy. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's every day is just you choosing joy, right? And not to say that I've been like down in the dumps this whole time. There's definitely periods, pockets of joy every day in my life. But to actually get to the, me feeling consistently hopeful was hard this past month. And I'm giving myself that time and saying that it's okay that I felt that way and not to beat myself up because I was. Every day this is what I want to do for a living, right? Where I'm doing a podcast to help others on their healing journey and to help motivate others to have a healthier mindset or whatever it is. But then I can't even do it. You know what I mean? So I started to like go in this deep down rabbit hole. Like I can't even fix myself. But that ain't even it. This whole thing is me fixing myself. This whole thing is me doing the work and healing. You know what I mean? Like I have to also be the reminder to myself. I love doing daily reminders on Instagram. I had to do the daily reminder on myself that like, girl, it's okay. It's okay if I don't have this shit figured out. I'm ascending right now. And as you ascend, as you're growing and evolving, you're purging a lot of things out your life that you don't need. The, unresolved issues that you have yet to talk about. All these things, all these purging. And it's crazy because after I did EFT tapping this morning, I had a great day, actually did my hair. So I finally got to show off my new haircut. Finally put a full face of makeup on. Went to Hobby Lobby and got the things I needed. You know what I mean? Ran these errands with my husband and my sons, feeling good. And, I did breakfast, amazing breakfast this morning. Amazing, right? Like, so I toot my own horn all the time. But if I don't, who the hell is? But I felt so much better and then ended up reconnecting with one of my best friends. It's been a little bit hard to connect with her just because our lives are all over the place and it's okay. And shout out to Net. I love you so much. And we had the best conversation over text today where we really got to just reconnect for a while. And although I was feeling bad because I wish I was there for her for some things. It was good that we were both telling each other how much we can lean on each other. And that's just how divine time works. We needed each other tonight. You know what I mean? So me having the best conversation with her, you know, it was the best way to end my day. And now ending my day with y'all on today's episode, because it's just like, I just owe it to myself to do one of these, because this is what makes me feel better. And hopefully if one small little thing that I say even clicks to make sense, it's all worth it. All of it. Because even though I did not want to do it or was not feeling up to it the last couple of weeks, months, whatever it is, I'm still here and still bringing, you know, myself to do this. Because I know that after I hit pause, stop recording, I feel so much better because I have talked it out and released it, you know? So hopefully you get some sort of tidbit from here. And if not, girl, it's okay. It's just, everybody's different, and you just have to allow yourself this time to just heal. There's no time limit that you need to be done. I know you have things to do, but you yourself at the end of the day is what's important. And one of my best quotes that I always say, and I know you guys have heard it on previous episodes, or if you see me on Instagram, I always talk about your body being at dis-ease. And it comes up as disease in your body, or, you know, ailments that are happening in your body. And as for me, I knew that me having the migraines was a big ringing of the bell in my body to like, you need to slow the fuck down, bitch, because you are going at 100 miles per hour and it is not worth it. So you need to hear these signs and messages to quit. And to always trust your gut, because that's exactly what's going to lead you to, like, I don't think there's anybody that's ever been like, well, I listened to my gut and I shouldn't have done that. I don't think you ever hear that phrase ever. You always hear, well, I should have did my first choice, right? My gut instinct. You always hear like, I should have just listened to what my gut instinct said. Same. Go with what you feel like you need to do. If doing the laundry is going to put you at ease, go do that. If doing none of it at all, do that. If binge watching Netflix for a full fucking day, go do that. Even if it's for a week, honey. Your healing has no time limit. I know it sometimes feels like it's a burden, or like, shit, I just want to feel better again. You'll start to see when you're going to be able to pull yourself out, like me today, where I just felt it, like just go into the room, close the door, lock the door, put the video on, open the window, let the sun shine into the room. Because that's exactly how I went this morning. Where every day I was just waking up like, I just want to feel better. And I don't want to cry, but that just, I was really feeling hopeless for a while, because I'm so easily able to bounce back, but it was just so hard the last couple of weeks. And then and then my self-doubt and my imposter syndrome were just running rampant. So crazy. And I just have so many things I need to get done, and I don't have time for that shit. And I'm just like the most chronic I have just the worst chronic self-doubt. And it's just all made up stories in your mind anyways. Like, who told you those stories if you couldn't do those things? Who told you? Start to see where the origins of all these stories and these beliefs that you have in your mind, where'd they come from? Right? And if they came from your parents, who told them that? That's a whole nother episode that's neither here nor there right now. But do not believe the stories that you tell yourself in your mind. They're not facts. So just the same way how I tell you to like shove it up somewhere, the opinions of others, because that is not your problem. Other people's opinions are not your problem. And same when it comes to the opinions you make of yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. It doesn't serve anyone. Having hope does. Feeling joy. And that's not on toxic positivity. That's the essence of life. You have to be the person that looks at the glass half full than rather half empty. Because ain't nobody benefit from when you're looking at the downside of things. There's no benefit coming from that side of the picture. Ever. Just you not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And taking the risk. Listening to your intuition. Doing the things that you need to do to feel good. Because life is too fucking short to feel otherwise. So, oh my God, it's hard, and I feel for all of us right now. I really do. Like, if going through depression, anxiety was fucking worse before, or like if that's something you've always struggled with, I just want to wrap my arms around you. I cannot fathom what it is like even worse now during this pandemic. You know, so allow yourself some grace and to be so kind to yourself, because you do deserve that. And you are the one that's going to give that to yourself, not anybody else. You yourself. And I'm making a statement right now that I know is going to bite me in the ass later, but I just want to be accountable. And I know that when I say these things out loud, I really do try my best to stick to them. And before I used to say, oh, well, I don't like to feel pressured. I only create when I'm feeling the flow of things. No, I want to be consistent, and I want to be held accountable, and I want to do a new episode every week, and regardless if I'm feeling good or not, because we're gonna fucking get through this. And even when I'm not feeling good, it always benefits somebody else, because it lets them see the light also. And that's what I'm here for. So, blessings to y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in this week and pressing play on my podcast today. I truly appreciate it. If you have the time, please like and subscribe my podcast. Please leave me a review on iTunes. I love you all tremendously and just wish you guys a blessed, blessed week. Bye. Mwah.